another cigarette over here. Is there anything left in that bottle? Yeah, here, maybe.
Well, if we weren't having fun before, we are now.
Oh my God, you guys are too much.
Welcome to Every Friday, Like It or Not, with Dan and Olivia. I'm Dan Miles.
I'm Olivia Darbo.
Okay, we have something a little different for you today on this momentous occasion. We have our first guest. If you've listened to the previous 7 episodes, you may have noticed that I haven't commented on precisely where or how we've been recorded.
Where or
how we've been recorded these days, Wilbur. Well, today we're going to reveal that secret. We're going to be joined by a wearer of many hats, host of Super Enthusiast Radio, co-host of The Spoon. He's a most excellent and experienced podcaster in his own right. He's an excellent musician and songwriter. That Van Halen clip was a little nod to one of his favorite bands, and he seemed a little bit familiar with it as it played back, as if he was the original artist almost.
Yes, I literally thought you were singing it before our eyes.
So, in addition to this podcaster and musician hats, he's been wearing his sound engineering hat for us from our debut episode through the present, and today he'll be donning yet another hat. Podcast guest. There's a voice that's going to be familiar to Friends of Dan listeners. Tom Bowers, welcome to your own studio.
Yay!
Good evening. It's great to be here.
Yeah,
so good to have you.
We appreciate you helping us out, getting this thing launched. You've done an excellent job.
Amazing.
Great technical and great pointers. And, you know, how do you feel about everything you've witnessed?
Except for that one time where I nearly murdered your ears. Right up front.
Yeah.
I was thinking I would screw up, maybe Olivia would screw up, but Tom was rock solid. And the first serious mistake was made by Tom when he almost deafened us with noise in our headphones.
Yeah, I always like to screw something up really big up front, so it sort of takes the tension out of the situation, you know?
Right, you broke the ice.
Under promise, over deliver. That's my motto.
Yeah. Well, Tom's been a guest solo by himself on my podcast. I've been on his once, and then Super Enthusiast, and then we've also done these 3 joint venture panel discussions involving Pink Floyd, Yes, and Rush. So it's not our first rodeo together, as the saying goes. Now, don't let the fact that she's sitting right in front of you affect your answer in any way, but Olivia Dabo, podcaster, what are you thinking? Yay, nay?
Those are my choices, yay or nay.
Yo!
Put me in a box, Miles.
Really? Wrap me up, Scotty.
Well,
So my choice is or death. I believe I'll have the chicken.
I wouldn't ask the question if I didn't think you liked her style.
I think Olivia is delightful, and can I pull the curtain back a little bit here?
Pull that sucker way back.
All right, because now we're in episode 8, right? This is episode 8 of the podcast. I can now reveal that the previous 7 episodes were all recorded on the same night, right here in Hammerspace Studios in Los Angeles, California, and I've actually got to watch the learning curve happen over the course of the last few hours and watch you guys, both of you, become much more comfortable in what you're doing here. What have we learned tonight, do you think?
Oh, well, gosh, many things.
Oreo shakes are the key to podcasting gold.
I've
I think
got
that's
one right
one.
here.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely helped me out.
Loving the dairy.
And always steer into the skid. That's something I've... That's something it's a hard-won lesson. You don't always learn it the first time, but you keep hacking away at it, and eventually you figure it out. Olivia, you're an actor. You've done improv.
I love how he said actor.
You've done.
He did not make
that.
it plural.
Well, he's learning on the curve too.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. I have extensive notes
We're all
here.
in this together, Tom.
I have extensive notes here. Many do's and don'ts. I've been working my way along.
Nice.
I'm an actor, so please do continue with what you were just saying, because I think you were really onto something.
Well, you're an actor. You've done improv and all these things that you do, especially in voiceover, right? So you know, steer into the skid.
Jump off the cliff.
Yeah, exactly. Get out of the comfort zone. Dan comes from a place in the podcasting world where he has everything very, very set.
Right.
And so it's good that you are sort of getting jostled out of your overthinking mode.
Well, that makes me jealous.
I had said from the outset that the whole purpose of this format was to be what I don't do already, and it's definitely proven to be that.
Well, and especially the last episode, which was not the last one you guys heard, you kids at home, but one of the episodes, I'm not going to say which, was almost entirely spontaneously produced. If you listen back to the first 7, I think you'll be able to tell which one, because it's full of all kinds of improvisational goodness.
We're going to call that the insane one.
The insane one and wacky hijinks. And you would not believe. I mean, Dan coming out of that episode was just like he was high, wasn't he? He was like he'd just been bungee jumping.
Exactly, like he had a concussion, perhaps.
Oh, the curtain's going way back now.
Pull it way back.
Like he just I can't believe how fun that is. And I'm like, well done, young Padawan.
I'm not going to
so
say.
we're going to get into Star Wars.
I would never say it isn't fun. I just don't know if other people want to hear it. It was good for us.
Sure, they do.
Yeah. Well, the feeling was that there might have been a little bit too much seriousness in the earlier episodes, and there needed to be a escape valve and have a little silly one, but nobody knew how to enter it. And Tom said, I'll just hit record and just go. Don't worry about how to get into it. And all of a sudden, we're singing like Ethel Merman. What the hell?
Yeah, I was watching these two on the couch going, okay, we could have this idea. And then they explore that idea for 15 seconds, and it's genius. And then it peters out, and they're like, I think we're done with that idea. Like, no, you had an idea. And eventually I was just like, okay, I'm hitting record in 5, 4, 3, have something ready, 2, 1, and it went. And so I think that's a lesson for us all, really.
Yeah.
And it's a hard one lesson. I didn't learn that lesson right away. It's funny. It's weird for me to be in the room because I'm normally the ultra prepared, uptight guy. It's weird for me to be in the room being the spontaneous guy. It's very, very strange. But it's a lesson I've picked up from some of the podcasts I've been on, where it's like you just content, leave it all on the table, steer into the skid. If it makes you uncomfortable, steer directly towards it, because if you won't, Robbie Wrist will, and and there you go.
Yeah, a little more details on that. Tom does a show with Robbie Wrist and Chris Jackson called The Spoon, which you've been doing almost as long as I've been doing Friends of Dan. What, you guys are 4 years in?
We just celebrated our 5th anniversary.
Okay, so you're
as
just
a podcast
few
team.
months behind me.
Yeah.
And then Super Enthusiast Radio, which is your own show. You did. Basically, what happened is Rob was doing a show, and Tom was coming in the studio to do his afterwards. You were in the next time slot, right? And then they invited you to help them, and you became a part of their show. Is that what?
No, actually, it was exactly the opposite of that. I volunteered to be an engineer on Rob's show. Just again, like I've been doing for you guys tonight, just running the board and making sure that, because multitasking was kind of
A topic.
was getting the better of them. You know, they really needed someone to mind the store while they went off to Mars.
A silent director.
Comedically.
Yes.
Yeah. So I came in to do that. And, Robbie, of course, not only just a world-class raconteur, the guy can talk about anything with anyone. Also is very generous. And the first day he stuck a mic in my face and was like, well, new guy, what do you think of this? And I'm like, I didn't come here to talk. But they kept at me and they loosened me up. And eventually I became what I guess I can be considered a co-host of the show now.
They're equal, yeah. I would completely say when I listen to the show, all three of you bring different things to it. Rob is like sort of the out-of-control kid in the family who you like having around, but you're not going to give him any responsibility. And then Chris is really quick-witted and educated and brings a different perspective. And Tom is like the parent who keeps everyone on track, reminds everyone it's time to play a song now, or come on guys, shape up, behave. So,
but every now and again, like all tightly wound people, I completely lose my mind and have a meltdown.
Those are awesome. When Tom goes on a rant, oh man, like a meme bothers you or something just been getting under your skin for a long time. Yeah. I'll tell you, it was a funny one, was that one you did that dramatic reading where I posted something on the Spoon page, which was what it was about somebody was trying to pretend to be an objective rock and roll reviewer, but they clearly had personal knowledge of this particular band. It was a completely biased review, but it was a printed word. And Tom pulled it out and read it and brought it to life.
Oh, that was so exciting. You posted that and I thought, that has to be done out loud.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Some of those are pretty epic.
Yeah, the show's fun. We have really good chemistry on the show. All the parts complement each other really well.
Now let's talk about Super Enthusiast, because Travis is, how's he related to you?
Yes. Well, just really quick, the origin of Super Enthusiast Radio, which is the other podcast that I do, is that when we were doing The Spoon at first, we were doing it live. We were doing it on an internet radio station where we came in every Monday night and broadcast live to the internet. And the station owner and I would sometimes hang out between shows or before shows and things like that where I'm waiting for the other guys to show up. And he once led on to me that they were going to be starting a pop culture sort of geek, nerd, sci-fi, whatever show. That seems to be a thing that's really big these days. We'd like to have a show of that of our own. What do you think? And I said, that's great. I'd love to engineer that if you're interested, or I'll get the coffee, or I'll do whatever you want. I just want to be around those topics. And he said,
you an Oreo shake.
I'll get you, or I'll deliver the Oreo shakes and do your research for you. And he said, well, how would you like to host it? I said, yes, because you always say yes.
Yes.
And, I've listened to The Spoon, and I've noticed whenever you're on the microphone, there's more Boba Fett references. So maybe you're the guy for the gig. So I wrote up a pitch, and he liked it. And right then, we started doing the 2 shows back to back.
Okay.
The Spoon, and then what was called the Geek Agenda at the time.
Right.
Then the studio folded, the internet radio station went away, and so both the Spoon and the Geek Agenda went DIY. We started, we made it build up our own studio and started doing our own stuff. And then last year we switched brand, titling from the Geek Agenda to Super Enthusiast Radio, which is sort of our own little sort of stamp. Mm-hmm. And it's been a lot of fun. And my co-host Travis Coleman is in fact my second cousin, I believe. But we didn't meet until college.
Wow.
We were not aware of each other's existence at all. We met in the theater department at Utah State University, and we became fast friends. And it wasn't until, I think, months after we knew each other that we were, I don't know, one of us was telling our family about the other, and someone said, that wouldn't happen to be this guy, would it? Yeah. You two are related, and so it's this whole big thing that's followed us around ever since then, and we're just we're the best of friends, and it's really awesome that we get to do a show together as well.
Yeah, was your dynamic like a sort of cousin, like a sort of normal cousin family dynamic, or are you guys like salt and pepper?
We like to irritate each other.
You do, okay. Yeah. So you get each other's goat.
We like to pick at each other. Yeah.
I'd say you guys are more alike than you are different. Yeah.
That's true, but we find ways to amplify the differences when we're on the microphone.
And you know a lot about music and film, but you know more about music than Travis does, and he probably knows more about film than you do because it's his forte. In fact, Travis is in the pool for the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. He was interviewed, and he's in their pool as a movie expert.
Yeah, we're waiting to hear back on that.
Yeah,
it's very exciting.
I wouldn't put him on the show because he's going to win $1 million. He's like a walking movie encyclopedia. And a sweet guy, and we love him. And hello, Travis. I hope you're listening. And since we're doing all of your, biography here, Sons of Nothing, let's get that in too.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm in a band,
Awesome.
a rock and roll combo called Sons of Nothing. Pop tunes with a prog twist is the best way I can identify what we do. And I don't know, that leads into a thing that I'm actually saving for later. But that's the core songwriting duo of Matt Meldrum, who lives in Salt Lake City, and myself. And we have been doing our last few recordings long distance. I grew up in Utah, and so we met there and had adventures playing around doing this and that. We gathered a bunch of members around us and were moonlighting as a Pink Floyd tribute band for many years. Got to open for ourselves on tour. That was always fun. Wow. And then I came out here to Los Angeles, and lately it's been like more sort of back and forth. I'll go do a gig over there. He'll come do a gig over here, and that sort of thing. But yeah, we have a lot of fun with that, and as well as other musical adventures lately.
Yeah, the first time I heard Sons of Nothing, I thought of King's X.
I love King's X.
Kansas, Pink Floyd, Rush, little moments.
Yeah.
But you guys would do interesting things, like you'd have like kind of a Kansas thing going on, then sax solo. And I go, oh, didn't see that coming. Cool, man. So now we talked about how to do this because we're trying to do kind of a shorter show with this every Friday thing. Even though Tom was sitting here in the room, I said early on, well, we can't acknowledge he's here and talk to him. And then episode 1 or 2, I turned around and said, Tom, and looked right at you like, I was like, I broke my own rule.
Yeah, and then you let loose a torrent of profanity that peeled the paint off the walls.
I actually
had been waiting to let that out.
I actually did do that.
It was relieving.
Well, because the whole thing was, let's not do a lot of pre-production, post-production. Let's not make Tom have to do a lot of editing. Then boom, I give him something he has to edit, which is totally my fault too.
That's okay. We'll sprinkle some post-production pixie dust on that. And it's going to be just fine.
As a witness to our first 7 episodes, I mean, what are some of the things that stand out for you So if you'd like to see more of, and what are your notes? What are your suggestions? You be the voice of our listeners who have been listening up to this point, and you try and anticipate what you think they may be thinking. I'm thinking maybe more Olivia, less Dan. Maybe.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Let's see if I can. These are my. These are my notes chronologically throughout
He has
the
actual
day.
notes. I knew he'd have actual notes.
Yes.
Wow.
Let's see, 8:37 Punch, Estevez, You're Lucky I'm Not a Scorpio, 27:15.
Man, he takes notes, man.
I'm not a
let's see.
I was a little pissed off in here at that stage.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, I do have one thing to say about that first episode, but I can't say the thing I was going to say because I think we're going to
Scratch it?
We're going to scratch that.
Yeah.
It's part of it's going to hit the cutting room floor, and then it won't make any sense to anybody.
Yes.
Let's see. There are no rules. There are no rules within reason because serial killers. The Beatles mashup with Rocky and the
Yeah.
Beatles, and I was saying, why not Rocky Raccoon? Why not find a way to do that?
Oh, very
Yeah.
clever, Tom.
You mashup fans in the audience, get on that.
Yes.
Get on that right now. Let's see. Deacon
all right.
Deacon Blues ended up being very apropos to the topic.
Yeah,
well
tied in.
done.
Well
thematically
done.
unified.
Well done.
That's right.
Well
guys.
done, Dan and Olivia.
Don't fit into your world, and Deacon Blues, that's him.
This is, in fact, the age of the expanding man. And
Yes.
quick anecdote about a friend of mine who finally quit his horrible, soul-crushing regular day job to pursue another job which pays him less but satisfies him more. And that's my friend Ray. And good on you, sir. I'm still very proud of you for
Go,
that.
Ray.
Yes.
Let's see, dubbing yourselves, a lot of screaming. Don't forget to take the girl.
That's right. That's what the line was. Don't forget to take the girl. Right? I knew
let's
it was
see.
something about a girl.
Head bumps. I think it's taken all evening for you guys to truly feel the concussion. Is that that's what it is?
I'm feeling the tingling sensation now in my hand all the way up to my head.
We both had head injuries before this started, just independently. We got together to come over here to Tom's place, and Olivia told me she'd hit her head, and I go, 20 minutes ago I hit my head. But that's a nice out for anything that we regret in these first 8 episodes ago. That's the day we hit our heads.
Yeah, well,
man. We're not
emergency
in our
care
right-
told me probably not a good idea to do a radio show today. But you know what? If you have to do it, it's fine.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be okay.
I don't want you to be
think
getting
so.
superstitious about it, like you're going to have to bump your head every time you
No,
come here,
no,
because
no.
that way madness lay. Seriously,
Showtime.
let's not do that.
Yes.
Yeah, a head bonk between the two of you is a sort of pre-show ritual.
Right,
That's
right.
what we're all about that.
Yeah.
Do like a ram thing.
Isn't that like Thailand boxing?
Let's see. Trans naming Mohawk Salad, Clean Slate LA, less tribal mashup earners. Oh yeah, more mashups. I approve of the mashups to start the thing. Mashups are a much maligned art. They are in fact an art form and very creative and cool and show a lot of skill. And I think there should be more on the show.
I agree.
Also, just a quick question. Something I've always wondered. We were talking about Bruce, nay, Caitlyn Jenner. And when transgendered folks choose a new name for themselves, where do you suppose they draw inspiration from?
I would imagine it's such a big thing for them.
It's a very
that they would
individual
put a lot
thing
of
for each
thought
person.
into it, and it wouldn't be just, I need a girl name, I'll be Michelle. I'd imagine that a lot of thought, just off the top of my head, a lot, where specifically they get inspiration. You mean like a female role model? Or?
Well, put it this way: I have never ever in my life heard of a transgendered individual who did like a homonym, who went like from Don D-O-N to Don D-A-W-N. It's never something like quite that. It's always something very different, and it's not everyone who gets to name themselves.
Yeah.
True.
So I wonder how much goes into that, and if it's as individual as the person, or if there are certain patterns that you can recognize after a while.
If you could name yourself, Tom, what name would you pick?
Alan September.
Olivia, what name would you pick if you could name yourself?
Max.
Oh, wow. Okay. I don't have one, so go ahead. Moving right along.
Moving right along, a lot of sweeties and honeys. Let's see. Intent, tug of war, the end of gender. That kind of language makes me want to kick a microphone stand. Yeah, okay. We'll work on that. Humor should never be intentional. The Chris Farley thing. You can get that and all kinds of other cool stuff on the SNL 40 app. By all means, go and do
gotta
all of
do
that.
more of that.
You guys
That's
talked about
so
Phil
much
Hartman last time, and Phil Hartman is my hero and a genius, and he died on my birthday, and it makes me sad. Let's see. Don't you have a little German in you? Oh, my. Let's see. Whiplash. We mentioned briefly about Whiplash because we're talking about parenting. And the two worst words a parent can say are "good job," as the guy says in the movie, and all that sort of thing. We could talk about Whiplash some other time.
Or never.
Well, I'm very much at odds with a lot of people who liked that movie and people who didn't like that movie, because I think even the people who liked it for the wrong reasons. But that's just me. Okay. Let's see. Dreams, pets, and kids. What was it? Oh, nothing's as ever interesting to you as your dreams, your pets, and your kids. Let's see. Jackson kind of runs the show. Move, Overthinking It, You Won't Get a Cat Situation, Book of Mormon, Drama Jock, London Theatre. I saw the 24,000th performance of Mousetrap in London.
Great show.
Just a couple of years ago.
24,000.
Yeah, it's the longest running theatrical production of any kind ever, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So what Sleuth was based on, or they're related somehow?
It's an Agatha Christie play from 1952 that's been running this entire time. The casts have been turning over. You go into the lobby and there's like these great reunion photos with all the casts on the walls and that sort of thing. That sort of thing. And then Oreo milkshakes. That's the key to success.
I think you were paying more attention to the show than we were, because I forgot probably half of that stuff.
But those are clearly the highlights.
I love the fact that you took those notes. Like, I would have grabbed like a ruled paper and a pen or my big laptop here, and you just got like a micro system of taking notes. I mean, what was that, a phone or a...
I was just taking notes on my phone, on my handy iPhone 5S.
And I thought you were texting the whole time, but you were completely in the moment, giving us your full attention.
I knew about the SNL app.
Okay.
I could tell from your reaction that when I was talking about, well, here's where you can get this stuff, NBC.com, Tom's going, for later... SNL app for
Dude,
later.
SNL 40 is the bee's knees. It's the wasp's nipples. It really is.
The wasp's nipples.
Really is quite something.
Nick that.
I think you guys have talked about it on one of your shows.
Yeah, I think I spoon-fed it once on the spoon. I found The Fruiting there, one of my favorite like horror movie commercial parodies from the 80s, which no one remembers but me. Found it there. The SNL 40 app. I have yet to stump it. That's all I'm saying. Yes, no, I was taking careful notes. I have an alarming case of OCD, which I attempt to mask as organization and responsibility, and most of the time I do a pretty good job. But the truth is, it's just kind of crazy.
Well, not only do we appreciate you engineering our first little, head-bumping session here, but also your contribution to this little wrap-up. This is going to be our tradition when we record a batch of these. We're going to let our engineer come on and promote their stuff and give their feedback, because for you out there, 8 weeks have passed. For us, I have barely even got up off of my seat for all this. We did go eat. We did have Oreo milkshakes, as you've heard us mention. There might be something in that.
There was definitely some magic in that. I think taking a break was a good idea.
Yeah.
Yes, and the disco lights and the gyoza.
The surreal
and
disco.
I'm full of shrimp curry.
We went to a Japanese restaurant here in Los Angeles, which was awesome, but as I opened the menu...
It's open till 4 a.m. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that.
But as I opened up the menu and everything was what you'd expect to see, more or less, the drinks... Right at the top of the list was Oreo milkshake. I go, well, this is not a Japanese delicacy. So,
and then Tom ordered one to annoy you.
Well, yeah, we got halfway through dinner and he had it as an afterthought. He asked the waitress, you know what? I think I want to get one of those Oreo milkshakes to annoy Dad. I said, annoy me? I want one too. So I had one. And then next thing you know, Olivia's got one. And we're all leaving the place with our giant plastic cups with our giant straws, Oreo milkshakes. And we come back here and start acting crazy.
So we're about 25 minutes into the program now. I suppose we ought to have a musical interlude, yeah?
And we're going to toss that to you, my man.
Give us something good, Tom.
Right on. Well, as they say in the 21st century, go big or go home. And I'm going to do both here. This is, in fact, I'm gonna pimp relentlessly. This is my band, Sons of Nothing. This is the opening track from our Clarity album. And it's about as proggy poppy as we get. So we'll just check that out right now.
Wow, so
Love it.
Where can people buy this fabulous song, Tom?
That is, as I said, on our album called Clarity. You can get that at, you can get Clarity everywhere. iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, wherever you get your digital music these days.
I was just thinking earlier today, I need to get Clarity.
Yeah.
Had nothing to do with your music.
So that's why you bonked your head twice.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all
okay.
clear to me now.
You can get that, and you can also get it at Bandcamp. All of our music is available at Bandcamp, as well as some exclusive stuff that you can't get anywhere else. Clarity there. You can also pick up physical copies of that if you're into the shiny compact disc things. Still, this far into the 21st century, you can get that at cdbaby.com.
Trust that more than the cloud.
But anything else, you go to sonsofnothing.com, and there's a whole array of purchasing options there. Sons, as in progeny, not the fiery giant ball in the sky. Sonsofnothing.com.
Like Sons of Anarchy.
Indeed, only we came up with it first.
I bet you did.
Bastards.
Well, I'm going to go buy it. I really loved it.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank
Yep.
you very much.
Yeah,
That was
nice.
that actually I snuck a twofer in there actually. The opening instrumental is called Death or Something Like It, and the vocal part is called Snapshot, and it's our little We Will Rock You, We're the Champions.
Are
We have
you
fun with that.
singing?
I was singing backup on that, but the lead vocals on that were performed by Tim Hollinger and Matt Meldrum. Tim Hollinger was our original guitarist who passed away last year, and Matt is, as I said, my songwriting partner and the guy who's sort of currently carrying most of the weight with me at this point.
Well, I'd say you guys can play a little. And I would say you went big.
Yeah.
Big as I could without hurting your ears like I did before, and I do again apologize for that.
Yeah, but
we
there was
forgive
some
you.
nice quiet moments too. There was a really nice kind of, it was the light and shade of it I really appreciated.
Yeah, a lot of it reminded me of like that era of Genesis, as Peter Gabriel was leaving and as Phil Collins was coming in, that big sound, little Steve Hackett-y, and
Yep.
you're always in the Porcupine Tree line of work too. And yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, everything I've heard of yours before I've liked, and I haven't heard that one, so I'm glad you exposed it to me as well as everyone else.
Yes.
And since we're talking Tom Bowers related websites and you gave us sonsofnothing.com, what else you got for us?
Well, let's see. If you want to hear me talking about embracing pop culture as the one true faith, that'll be superenthusiastradio.com. I know super enthusiast, it's a long word, but trust me, put it in your browser, bookmark it, and then you never have to spell it again. That where Travis Coleman and I and an array of special guests, including from time to time Dan Miles. And hey, we're
Love
talking
it.
about my show, and
We're
there are
getting
sirens.
the sirens.
Sirens.
Ice
It's
cream
almost on
truck.
cue. Almost on cue. We were worried about having the sirens. We made it all the way through all 8 episodes until
know,
the very
until the very
end of
last
episode
one.
8, which I like. I mean, it's like, hello, sirens, welcome.
Yeah, we got the ambiance going for us.
Nice. So once again, superenthusiastradio.com. That's my pop culture podcast. If you want to hear some incredibly off the wall comedy from as well as the occasional philosophical digression from mad geniuses like Robbie Rist and Chris Jackson, with me chiming in occasionally, go to thespoonradio.com for that particular podcast. And then, of course, I pimp this crap relentlessly on social media. My name is Tom Bowers. That's Tom with an H. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and everywhere else.
I've listened to probably every Spoon, mainly because I started when Rob had only done like 4 or 5 of them. One thing you guys do on Super Enthusiast Radio is you do these movie commentaries. It's for Bernie Bregman's Midnight Movies.
The Nerds Like Us Midnight
Nerds Like
movie
Us Midnight.
that happens here in Hollywood every month. They have a revival movie at the Vista.
Yeah.
And the guy who runs that series is a friend of mine, and we bring him in and a crew of like-minded individuals, and we do movie commentaries here.
They're cool. I haven't listened to all of those, so I haven't earned my 100% punch card or whatever. Because some of those, if I don't know the movie and I'm not watching the movie, and you're quiet for a while as you guys are watching the movie, you lost me.
It's sort of like, Dan, when you do your musician interviews and you do extensive research beforehand. Yeah, it's always a term paper for us on these things.
Yeah, but they're fun and they're cool. So, Tom, thanks again, very sincerely, for helping us out tonight.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Did a great job, number 1 in engineering, number 2 in guesting, and number 3 in choosing a dinner destination, and number 4 in conning us all into getting Oreo milkshake.
Yeah, and then guiding and directing us.
Yes.
Well, I wish you guys all the best success, and I think we're off to a great start here.
Agreed. So I will say goodbye,
As will I.
and as will Tom, and we got one little last tidbit.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh, we out of time now, everybody. Alright. We had a time. It's good to be on your show. Thanks for having me on, no doubt.
And above all, preserve your sense of humor. Because you're gonna need it if you expect to survive. And God bless you all.
I'm out, y'all. No doubt. Peace out.